So guys, the question is, am I a RAM expert? No. No. Hey guys, so before this video goes too far, I need to warn you. There's a lot of bouncing around. I got Brody over here. I'm trying to bang stuff out. He's trying to bang stuff out. Everything's trying to happen at once. So you'll see me doing a bracket and then all of a sudden I'm on to something for a different system, and I apologize guys. I'm gonna try and edit it together the best I can, but the reality is there's a lot of moving parts in this and I'm just trying to get this damn thing done. I want to get back to content where I'm wheeling it, not building it. So I apologize, but just kind of work with me on this one, guys. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm pulling out the whole grill assembly, and the reason for that is my whole headlight. This whole grill, guys, this truck was in an accident before I got it, and the right side suffered a little bit. Wasn't very bad. That's why I bought it, but definitely suffered a little bit. So things come apart a little different than they might on your rig. There it is. So now we have nice easy access to this. And why do we need that? Well, let's do a little talking here. You guys love it when I talk, I'm sure. Here's your PSC cooler. In comparison, it's massive. So if I'm trying to figure out where to put this, the grill comes to there. So anywhere I put this, it's going to be into the grill. And I don't want that. Plus, this has some fins inside. Basically just flows through. It's all open. So, in my opinion, not a very good cooler. Why did I buy it, you might ask? Well, funny. I tried to be prepared and have everything I was going to need for this swap. So that's why I overspent on everything. I'm going to put this behind this. This is all bent. This front core support's bent. Everything here is all crumpled. So it's going to take a little pulling. We might yank on it with the Bobcat to straighten it out. We might not. I don't know what we're going to do. So we start by taking that off. And get the latch out of the way. And we get to the last bolt here. That a little bit cross-threaded. Now let's bend this line out. Try and straighten it back out to where it used to live. Somebody where I used to live. Okay, so that goes there. That's back to that. You guys can kind of see how screwed up this whole thing is. So we'll get the cooler in. I'm gonna go tap this a little, couple taps. Oh, just did a little tappy over there. A little massage. It was consensual. Oh yeah. So that's where that's gonna live. I do need to pull this out. So how do I want to do that? Don't quite know how it's gonna come out yet, but Bertha decided she wanted to play. So let's see who else wants to play. That's gonna work just splendid. we need to hold that there somehow. Somehow, some way, over the river I say. Let's put this in. Go around the gearbox. Come in through here. La 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 la. There we go. Now, just ratchet that to something. Okay, that'll stop that from moving out. And we put our big bar in there. Oh, that's beautiful. Yes. Yeah. I'm in. I'll buy that for $1. Maybe even $2. So there that is, guys. We got that all figured out. So what these are is they have a bunch of ribs on them and they work like a zip tie. So you push it through the radiator fins and then it clamps it on this side, and then you put a spacer and then the cooler, and then there's another clamp, and that holds your cooler in place. These are pretty common on like all applications. Like when we add them to Super Duties and stuff like that, we'll typically do the same method unless I can secure it better.
We all know what's going on in this thought bubble. The kids don't know, but we do.
All right. There we go. There we go. Now you want to, the purpose of those insulators, guys, is not only to insulate metal on metal contact, but also gives you a spring. So you want this tight enough where the cooler's not going to move around on you and chafe against the aluminum fins and then cause you a bad trail day. There we go. That's pretty damn tight. Okay, that's all that is. So we have a cooler now. And guys, I know that seems cheesy, but I've done it to a ton of vehicles and I don't have issues with it, so, well, a little less cheesy than you think, maybe. Now our latch goes back. Yes. Yeah. Just gonna latch, just like that, yes. Max! Max, where's my latch? Okay, so now that we got that installed in there, we are going to put our lines back in this thing and get them fed into place. So from what we looked up earlier, the port that comes out of the front of this gearbox is going to be the left-hand turn. The port in the back is going to be your right-hand turn. So obviously fluid's going to push a ram one direction, right? So if your ram is set up like this, it's going to push this way. That's going to give you right. You want to go here, so it pushes that way and gives you left. And that might look backwards in the camera, but trust me, it wasn't backwards when I told you. Ish. Told you ish. Alright, so you might think it's time to hook up the hoses to the ram, but you're incorrect. We have to modify the ram. Let me get it off, we'll talk about it. Here's our ram. Let's go throw it on the bench of questions. So guys, the question is, am I a ram expert? No. No, no, no. I have, however, rebuilt a few rams on the skid steer and an excavator and some other hydraulic rams. So I have my certification for maybe. So let's get this off. The spacer, I believe, is going to go right here inside of it. So I think what we're doing is pulling off the cap, pulling the seal out of the way, dropping in a spacer, and yeah. Okay guys, so to my knowledge, these are called spanner wrenches. They have little feetsies, and what they do is they're going to click into the holes that we have on the top of this PSC pump, or hydraulic. So, make sure they're seated properly. They need to be all the way in. And then, just kind of crack it loose and go ahead and unscrew it. Now, I have no lines on this, there's no caps on this, there's no pressure in this whatsoever. I can move this. Do not do this under pressure. You will not like the outcome. Because this thing's new, there's no reason for me to rebuild it. They did send me a rebuild kit. I am going to look in here for any metal shavings. Good indicator of their quality. Yeah, there's a little bit. Oh, nope. Just shiny spots in it. Okay. So, what they did is they sent me out a spacer. So this, whee, goes in there. And that little piece of plastic is supposed to stop a couple 1,000 pounds of force. Cool. Alright, so we're going to gently work this in there. Do not want to hurt anything here. Being a little rougher than gentle right now. Not so gentle. Not so gentle. Okay. Why don't you go home? Go home, ball. There you go. There we go. That's probably going to leak like a son of a gun when I'm done with this. Alright, so go nice and snug with this. As far as I know, guys, you don't need Loctite. I've never put Loctite on any. I like to do the 3-tap rule. There, make sure I can't move it after that. And in real time, that's how you rebuild a hydraulic cylinder. Just kidding. Alright, so that's really all there is to adding that spacer. I think that's still too much. Oh, that's 6.5. That's exactly what we needed. The measurements up front were correct. We're good to go. Alright. So, back on the car she goes. Now, I know, guys, I put that into the thing, brand new paint, and I put little teeth marks in it, and it came on the floor. Oops. But I don't care. This thing's going to get hit by rocks. The sooner you can put a couple dents in the paint, the sooner you get over it. It's going to get beat up. Bad, too. So as I'm cruising through the mall with this thing, and it's getting sand on it, it's going to pretty much sandblast itself. Nothing you can do about that. Yeah. I can't find a good angle in there for you guys, so I'm just going to throw it in there, put the lines on it, and catch you guys up when we're done. Well, guys, if you're wondering what I'm doing on my back, it's none of your damn business. But if it was, I would tell you I'm playing with my shaft. Because guess what time it is? Drive Shaft Mania! So, let's get this up in here. Oh my god. Who's is it, mommy? This is a shit yoke. It's another day, and Brody was by today. He got the brake lines all done. You can see those in there. Those are all done. The back lines right there, they're in. Hard lines are in. We're leaving everything loose on the control arms. The reason being I still got to take it into work. I got to do the alignment on it. Make sure everything's kind of squared up as far as that goes. I made a bracket for the PSC. All it is one of the quick joints. I use one of these quick joints here where they bolt together. And I welded it to a tube right here. And then that made a little right angle piece of bracket that holds onto the pump, and she's sturdy. So I left room in case I have to hook up the ABS unit back in here. I ran the breather over here, which it should be higher than this. I understand that, but I can't go any higher unless I cut it through the roof. So that's the way that's going to be. They got the pump. You guys saw me do all that. We got our tranny cooler in place here, and then I got to do some line routing and stuff. But where I started is I started trying to figure out my body mount that's going to go in here. And I have the old pieces, so this is a metal plate that was welded to the truck. So this is going to weld in here like that. And then here's the factory cup. I'm going to cut the cup out completely and then build a piece here so that this will be sandwiched between the two of them like that. So what I'm doing, got this piece as I said, and I'm going to stitch weld it to all this. Then I'm going to blast a hole through here, because if you see over here, there's a piece of metal that goes down a tube that secures this, and it's so you don't crush this. I'm going to use that for extra support. So I'm going to go through here, and I'm going to weld as much of it I can there, and I'm going to weld the whole thing on top there, and then pick all this up. So this is going to be incredibly strong right there. So yeah, let's see how I accomplish all that. I'm basically just cutting stuff and starting to weld things and trying to figure it out as I go, because that's how I operate. And then we'll lift up the body because it's sagging pretty hard. And then we have an issue with the lower radiator hose still. We'll get to that. The drive shaft, I stopped on that. Let's see if we can see that. So I got to make that plate right there. And I need to make sure that the drive shaft, with the way that the carrier bearing on it works, I got to make sure that I can use it. So I got to put that 1/4 inch piece of steel across it, weld it in on either side, and then that'll give me all the support that I need. But we're not there yet. So for right now, just kind of hang out and let's fart around with this a little bit. It's kind of a fun little project. Okay, so that should sit in there. There we go. Pop, pop, pop. Oh, that fit and finish. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, stop it. It goes right up, guys. Right in. Perfect. So what we do from here is we got a bzz, 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 bzz thing to it. So let's weld that in. Weld it in. So that's in. Now it would be bolt time. So this is the longest bolt that I have, which is not going to be long enough to achieve what we need to achieve. So what's going to happen is this guy goes in here like that, and then another piece of metal is going to come across like this, and then from under that piece of metal this comes up and goes in and sandwiches the whole thing in there. All right, guys, so now this little beast right here goes in here. Okay. Where's that? That's nice, yes. So I back cut this, guys. That way it fits on there nicely. Looks as good as it can, being what it is. So, beautiful. Okay. 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 Ah, nutsack. Yeah, it looks good. And we're an 1/8 inch high right now. Sorry, not an 1/8. We're a 16th high. So I think the amount of squish that I have here, or is it an 1/8? I don't know. I calculated it out. We're enough of a squish. We have the squish factor. We got our wet rag ready to go. And now we're going to start welding. Now, that's to protect the rubber there, guys. I don't want to melt that onto there anymore. Guys, so we got drive shafts in. We got that there. I welded the piece in there. We can get it. You can see the piece of metal I welded into that. That's for the stub shaft there. And we got a rear drive shaft. That's a sign that things are happening, fellas. Ladies and fellas and gentlemen and gentle ladies. Right now, what I want to do is get this box fitting in the factory location. That would make me pretty happy. Obviously, there's a missing bolt down in here. So I'll have to, move some stuff around. This is an awkward camera spot, so I'm not going to film too much of this. I'm going to start by cutting this off with the air saw and then fitting it, putting some spacers in, and seeing where I can go with that. So let's check that out. And then we're going to build a bracket that goes somewhere on here to hold my reservoir so I can fill my reservoir up and then start messing with brakes at some point. But right now it's going to be a little blotchy of a video, guys. I am putting in a couple hours every night after work. This weekend I'll hit it again. Some of the days here I got little side jobs and things to do, so I'm going to do as much as I can every night and try and button this fucker up. Catching you up here. We got the wire harness installed. I got the wires out of the way so they're not in any kind of rub points or anything like that. I got a little anchor up here. It's going to hit the firewall. It's going to come around, hit the distribution block, and then straight to the battery. I have a spare fuse that's going to go to the 12 volt constant. And then I have a jumper that's going to go in here off of a switched circuit for the little orange wire that we added. And then ground obviously is ground. I can hit this little lug here. I can hit the ground terminal itself. Who knows? We're gonna get crazy. But anyways, I am working on this part right now for that sensor. And I'm gonna do something that I'm not really sure a lot of people know to do. So that's all I got left. You can see in comparison to my finger and my phone ringing. So guys, we pull out the little safety clips. Some of them have clips, some of them don't have clips. Let's see if I can get a little more face in there. Hey there. So these here do nothing more than to pop a pick in there. Oops, it's out. Now, I have several wire disconnects for these terminals. For whatever reason, none of them are working on this damn thing. This one might. Nope. Not working. So that whole kit does nothing. This one's a little skinnier, not that I'm fat shaming. Oop, that felt like it got it. Well, I just took all the insulation off of that one. It's not quite what I was going for. And that one. So, good lesson, guys. I'm glad we all paid attention in class today. That is how you do not depin a connector. Now I gotta really show you how it's done. There it was. So there's clips way in there. I know you can see them. Perfect view, right? Basically what you're doing is you're hooking it and you're just moving it out of the way. Once it's out of the way, just with a little bit of pressure. You don't use much because then you'll snap the stupid thing. And then it comes right out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to solder onto these, sorry. Just absolutely slaughter the balls out of them. So guys, this is a simple ohm circuit. I'm not really worried about you know, different color wires and stuff. I got this wire, it's a light gauge. It's all I need. That's what I'm going to use. So they're both going to be orange. Oops. Oopsie. Ta-da. Now there's a couple different ways you can splice wires. You can have them loose-ended, push them together like a butterfly, and then twist them. That's kind of my preferred. Gets a real nice connection. So that's what it looks like, nice and clean. Oops, sorry. Yeah, nice and clean. So we're gonna solder that. Ooh, look at this fancy here. Perfect. Perfect. Ooh, la, 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 la. Flux is your friend, guys. It just takes the solder in that much faster. I always wear safety goggles because I don't like to take solder to the face all the time. It's fun once in a while. I'll give it that. So what we do is we're going to melt the solder and then we're going to whoosh. Solder is melted. Sorry, flux. Then I come off the tip of the gun. Anywhere there's solder, you're going to come off the gun and just kind of work your way across, and it should take seconds to solder. I like to keep a wet paper towel right there and wipe, and that gets all the extra solder off there. And then every once in a while you're going to have to take it to the grinder and clean it up. That's inevitable. Unless you're superior to me, then you don't need to do that, but I need to do that. Scalpel. Melt, my pretty. So yeah, once again, as soon as the flux is melted, it will take instant solder. And don't be a slob. Don't like slam it in there. Do you guys see how thin this is? I mean, get thin wire, be nice, be clean, and you won't have these huge drops everywhere. I always see solder jobs where I get it. If you're learning, that's great. I cool for you. But I mean, get good at it quick. Just don't leave huge globs on there, because then you're sitting there with some flush cuts and you're trying to cut all these little wings off. If you're clean in the beginning and then just run the solder, done. That one's cold. And we reinsert it into our insertion. So there's one. Plenty cool enough. Again, guys, simple switches like this, zero need for polarity. Strictly completing a circuit, probably ground at that. So let's get our heat shrink here. Little shrink it. You're the one. You make shrinkage so much fun. Fellas, you know what I'm talking about. What? Ta-da! Alright, now we're going to test the tape that. I'm going to pull it out, guys. I'm not going to... Sorry, I'm a child. I'm going to pull the tape loose. Pull the tape out. That way I can not put too much tension up here. I don't want to start yanking on these wires. So yeah, we'll get it lined up, see where we need to be, test the tape the rest of it. We still have to find the positioning for the brake reservoir, but it's 7:30. I'm going in. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow and we'll finish that, or in 2 days, and we'll finish that up. We have new bolts. This is going to be for our motor mount, or body mount. See what they look like in here. They don't look very good. So we get the tap set out, and what I found is that it was not the bolt being the wrong size. It was not, it warped. What happened was the core support's moving. So I pulled on the core support and it goes. That is an issue that I have to address still. I have not figured out the best way to do it yet, how I want to do it yet. I have a feeling that it's going to take some fancy work on Brody's part with his bender. And that's how we're going to end up figuring that whole thing out. We're going to do something that's not very intelligent here, guys. I need more thread on these bolts. So they come with 1 inch of thread. I need probably 1.5 inches, close to 2 inches of thread on this. I got extra bolts. I don't know if the tap's really up to what I'm about to do. Well, we got safety glasses. We have a die. We have a bolt. We have something with some lubrication value to it. And we're going to just tap this like anybody else would. As fast as humanly possible. Oh, it doesn't like it. Oh, high torque mode. Oh boy, let's give it some more assistance here. Oh yeah. That whole bolt is scorching hot, but check that out. It's threaded, and I bet it's pretty close to the correct distance. We're just gonna let that sizzle for a little while longer. It worked a lot better than I thought it would, though. I thought the tap was just gonna explode. Ooh, that is very warm. Very warm. I'm impressed. So, let's go get that in there. One more thing off the list. By the way, that bolt's in my hand right now, and it is scorching hot. So, any sane person would probably let it go by this point. But yet here I am, still holding it. Okay. There, it's enough man stuff for one moment. Well, I didn't screw it up too bad. Let's get some washers, put it on. So we just finished up the bracket here. I painted it. Just whip that up real quick. So we know the reservoir is going to go right here. Fun story about the reservoir. I broke it. It no longer has a nipple there. Not particularly excited about that. Here's the nipple, and what happened is I tried to pull the hose off and it choked itself down and broke right off. But it's cool though, because I called the dealership and they can get it for tomorrow for $200, which is, I paid $300 for everything, $275 or something like that. So I'm gonna call the wrecking yard I got this from and get another one, but that's gonna be several days out. So yeah, for now we know where it needs to go. We got this here that sits here, so I know that this wire needs to come and go back here. So we know the rough length is going to be somewhere around here. You got to try and remember, always put your heat shrink on, because when you forget, it sucks. Okay, so shorter one. Let's do that one first. So that's a lot better. Now let's finish this off. A little Tessa tape there. Tessa tape. So I think this factory chingus right here will fit into the hole in this booster. Does it? Please fit. Don't make a liar out of me. It did. Look at that. So it just clipped in there. And now we have factory-ish looking shit going on here. So that bracket's gonna go there. Da, 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 da. Bracket's not dry by any means, but it's tacky enough that I can install it. Tacky, tacky. So guys, this will go here now. Our wire right here will plug into the bottom. Click. Like that. And then this is going to sit right here. That's going to be my brake master. All done. And that's going to finish up on this video, guys. So we got the brake master in, put some other trinkets in, and did all that stuff. Thanks for watching another episode of Penguin's Garage. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and tune in for the next one. Next time, I'm going to be doing some engine mounts, which for me is today. For you, it's in a week or 2 weeks or something like that, whenever I get around to editing the video. So, yeah. See you on the next one.